Hello everyone, welcome to another PSTS movie reviews where I talk about movies that I've been recently watching and recommend or don't recommend them. Today I wanted to talk about this movie Undisputed 3. I was going through a list of the best fighting movies lately because of another video that I was doing, doesn't matter. And I come upon this one and I didn't recognize it, so I tried to check it out. And it's part of a whole franchise, so you can't really talk about Undisputed 3. You can simply talk about Undisputed 3. You have to talk about the whole legacy of Undisputed and why the whole fighting genre is still what it is. So let's go back to the beginning. So fighting movies are not any news, but they still been capitalized recently. So Undisputed got released in 2002, featured Wesley Snipes and Ving Rhames. It's about people fighting in penitentiary, like they're fighters, they go to jail, they figure out some way to fight each other, have some fighting sequences and drama in the middle of it. And the movie tanked. He got a 6.2 rating. Was directed by Walter Hill and written also by Walter Hill. And then they decided to make a sequel in 2006 with a different director and different writers. And even the only character that remains from the first movie to the second movie is played by the different actor. Why the hell do they call it Undisputed 2? Studio bureaucracies, I guess. Anyways, it featured Michael J. White as this big tough black guy that went to jail, even though he's a pro athlete or pre-boxing athlete, and he went to this jail where he met this guy Scott Adkins, which made his life miserable. They had this whole fighting arrangement thing there in Russia, related to Russian mafia as well and stuff like that. And there's this whole drama, and the movie is not bad. It has a lot of scenes that is just this guy playing very badass and then getting beaten up and then trying to beat up some people in return, but ultimately he's won against the whole prison, so he can't really do much about it. So it's the struggle of an American person in Russian prison and getting caught into this fighting scheme complex of some sort. The movie wasn't terrible. It had some nice action scenes in it, but overall the plot was a bit it was okay-ish. Anyways, for Undisputed 3, the main character, Michael J. White, disappeared, and instead we followed the career of the antagonist on the Undisputed 2, which was played by Scott Adkins. There's another American thrown into the mix because we always need a black guy apparently on action movies these days, because the other guy went and do Blood and Bone instead, which features the story of an ex-con getting caught up into underground fighting world. Similar plot. I guess all action movies nowadays have very similar plots. Anyways, Undisputed 3 is actually the best movie of the whole Undisputed series. It's sort of the redemption of this Russian guy who was the antagonist on Undisputed 2, and now it's somehow, and he got like an injury at the end of Undisputed 2, so this is like his redemption, trying to recover from that injury and getting back into the world. He has fallen from grace. He's like the underdog of the whole prison system now. No one gives a shit about him, and he has to make his name back again, and ends up proving his worth, gets thrown into this special competition, and there's this whole drama and trade-off with other characters from different worlds and stuff like that. So it's like a world battle of famous prison fighters of the world. It says here right here, fighting for the first ever inter-prison tournament with just one knee. The movie is actually quite good. There are a lot of good action scenes, well filmed. In terms of MMA, it's not realistic MMA. If you've seen some MMA for real, you notice that this movie is... the moves are very good on film, but if it was on a real fight, you would probably not do them. Same thing with Undisputed 2, they also had a lot of those kind of issues. But for an action movie, you know, it's interesting to see that they do the flip the other way that they should do, and stuff like that, and calling out to the audience a lot instead of focusing on the opponent. Things like that that make sense on a movie about fighting, but doesn't really make sense if you were in an actual fight, as seen on many MMA competitions throughout the world. So yeah, but the movie is alright. Has some weird drama. It's the same writer and director from the previous movie. They apparently learned some values and they got much better work done out of that. Few years later, they also did another follow-up. Same writer, but not the same director. The movie isn't that bad. It's Boyka Undisputed. It follows the career of the same antagonist from movie number 2 of Undisputed. They changed the name just to complicate things. It's Undisputed 4, but they call it Boyka Undisputed because it's stupid. Undisputed 3 was also about Boyka. Undisputed 2 also featured Boyka. Why is it Boyka Undisputed? It's just to make it even more complicated. Anyways, follows the story of Boyka as he goes back and repents for his past mistakes as a prison fighter and reckless destroyer of lives. And he tries to make good of his life. He tries to see the light and not fight beyond the four corners of the ring, and help a widow of one of the victims that he killed by mistake, for being more violent than he should. So classical storyline of action movie, hero repenting, not wanting to do violence, but everyone ganging up against him, so he has to do violence and still train to be like this figure, and ends up doing a lot of violence anyways, to get the girl in the end, which is not even his girl, so it's not even dramatic. Anyways, all these action movies sort of have that similar theme. Also, Undisputed 3 and Undisputed 2 also had those moments where it's a lot of drama build up around the scenes to justify the fightings, and then it just culminates with face zoom of the character, and you experience all the emotions behind it because they can't act for shit. They're action actors. Anyways, the whole series was interesting. Would I rewatch them? Probably not. The best one is Undisputed 3 for sure. Undisputed 2 was alright, but a bit too cliche for my taste. Undisputed 3 was a bit better in that regard. Also, the fighting scenes were better. The storyline made a little bit more sense. So yeah, that's my recommendation. If you have to check one of them, go for Undisputed 3. The whole series is okay. I skipped Undisputed 1 because, one, it featured Wesley Snipes, which I don't like, and then the rating was also pretty crappy. But I guess if you're really an action movie fan and you need to check the whole series, you should start with Undisputed 1 and make your way through all 4 of them. Anyways, that's my rating. Talking about action movies, Undisputed series in particular. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you already seen the movies, or if you haven't, let me know in the comments below. See you next video. Bye bye everyone. Take care.